Today, we're going to watch a South Korean suspense thriller movie about a genius thief whose job was to drill holes in underground pipelines at different locations across the city to steal oil. So how did they plan this mission? What happened during it? And did they succeed? That's what we'll see in this movie. The story begins in Seoul, South Korea, where we see an underground system. This underground network contained Korea's largest pipeline through which oil was supplied. In fact, approximately 12,000 pipelines spread across various locations. And oil was supplied through all these pipelines. Then we meet a guy named Drillbit. Drillbit wasn't an ordinary person. He was a notorious thief who had become quite wealthy by stealing oil. Actually, he would drill holes in these oil pipelines and steal oil from them. But he didn't do this work for himself. He would make deals with different people to do this job. His main work was to drill a hole in the pipeline and create a line so that whoever made the deal could extract oil through that line at their convenience. But drilling into a pipeline wasn't ordinary work. It involved huge risks. If any mistake was made while drilling, an explosion could occur and he could die. And if he got caught somehow, there would be a fine plus jail time. But Drillbit didn't worry about these things because he was quite an expert in pipeline drilling, which is why his name became Drillbit. Since this work was very risky, he charged dealers a lot of money. Drillbit had been doing this work for a long time and had become quite wealthy. Still, he continued this work. Now, we see a dealer named Straw who tracked down Drillbit through another dealer. Straw paid money and made a deal with Drillbit. But the man Straw presented as Drillbit wasn't the real Drillbit. He was an ordinary worker who had a little bit of knowledge about drilling. The real issue was that Drillbit charged approximately 12.5 million rupees for one hole. So to earn more profit, the dealer sent a simple guy so he could pay him less money and keep the full amount himself. Now that man sets a timer on his mobile. But while drilling, maintaining time and pressure is very important. When drilling a pipeline, you have to pay attention to both time and pressure. Because that man wasn't an expert at all, he applied too much pressure on that pipe. Due to a small spark there, the pipe immediately caught fire and a huge explosion occurred. The dealer tried to escape from the scene. Before the explosion, that man and Straw somehow got out. But Straw grabbed that man and said, "How fake you people turned out to be. My money is wasted. Give it back." But the real money had already gone to the dealer. Straw continued, "Not only is my money gone, but now there will be a police investigation too. If I get caught, I'm finished." After such a big explosion, the police would arrive and during their investigation, they might reach him too. A little while later, the police indeed arrived. The entire team sealed the place and began investigating. First, they were handling the burnt items there, but suddenly they found a drill bit from a drilling machine. It was strange to have a drill bit near an oil pipeline. The meaning was clear. Someone had deliberately planned and set the fire. Looking at the entire scene, the police began thinking the same thing. Meanwhile, there was a person in the police team named Mansik. Everyone believed Mansik was incompetent. Neither did senior officers pay attention to him, nor did his juniors. Mansik hadn't solved any case yet, which is why he was always looking for opportunities to prove himself today. When he saw the drill bit near the pipeline, he tried to act very smart. He started telling his senior officers that approximately 5 years ago, a similar case had happened in a pipeline like this. Some thief had drilled the pipeline with a drilling machine. Mansik believed that perhaps the same thief could be involved today. And that thief had been arrested 5 years ago. So he was trying to convince his senior that if they pulled out the 5-year-old file, they might be able to reach that same thief. But the officers weren't giving any importance to Mansik's words. Nobody cared about what he was saying. Then, we see a guy named General who was stealing oil from a car's tank. Actually, this General was the dealer who had sent that man instead of Drillbit. Straw arrived there searching for General and was about to beat him up, asking why he sent the wrong person. General told him that he was helpless. Drillbit charges 12.5 million for one hole, so he sent the cheaper man to make more profit for himself. Straw said, "Okay, what's done is done. But I don't want to lose my money. Bring the real Drillbit to me within 24 hours. I'll get oil from another line through him. Then we see the real Drillbit, who was always in a pretty cool mood. Earlier, he was very poor. Later, he completed his engineering degree. But when he started this business, money flooded in as if he had become a money-making machine. Drillbit had started this work about 5 years ago. He was the same thief Mansik was talking about, and since then, Mansik had been after him for 5 years. But due to lack of evidence, Mansik couldn't do anything. Drillbit was so clever that no direct evidence could be found against him, and he knew well that Mansik was desperate to catch him. Once, when Mansik was secretly keeping an eye on Drillbit, Drillbit caught him and said, "Stop following me like this secretly. How long will you keep chasing me? Do you think every theft has my hand behind it? This is your misunderstanding," Mansik said. "I know you're behind the city's thefts if you're innocent. Then I want to search your garage right now." Drillbit let him search the garage, but despite thoroughly searching, Mansik didn't find anything there that could prove Drillbit guilty. Drillbit laughed loudly while sliding away. And Mansik left from there. A little while later, General came to Drillbit. Actually, General was Drillbit's friend who used to bring clients for Drillbit from various places. But this time, out of greed, he sent someone else instead of Drillbit so he could earn more commission. When Drillbit found out that General had caused such a big accident due to his greed for a commission, Drillbit became very angry at him. General repeatedly apologized and said that the person who gave him the job was a big gangster. Because his work wasn't completed, he was after General, and if he couldn't complete this work, he would kill him. General requested, "Please help me. I promise I'll never do anything like this again," since General was Drillbit's very good friend. Drillbit couldn't ignore General's plea. He went straight to Straw. According to the deal, he set out to drill another pipeline again. Drillbit had a special drilling machine that he had made himself. With that machine and his capability, he expertly drilled that pipeline and also attached a secret line there. When Straw saw Drillbit's skill, he was quite impressed and gave him the address of a big businessman where he would get a big deal. Drillbit immediately reached that address and had to meet that businessman. That person's name was Jian. Although Jian was a big businessman, he was drowning in debt. So much debt that even if he sold his house and car and earned money his whole life, the debt wouldn't be paid off. So Jian wanted Drillbit to create a line in the pipeline for him so he could steal oil from there and pay off his debt. Jian told Drillbit to drill a hole in the city's biggest pipeline and create a line for him. He would pay whatever Drillbit wanted, but Drillbit understood that Jian would make crores from this work, so cleverly he increased his fee about 5 times. Jian had no objection and told Drillbit to start the mission, since this work had to be done on the city's biggest pipeline. Drillbit formed a very strong team. Every member was skilled in their respective work. The funny thing is, that the same man who went there on the day of the first explosion incident was also in that team. His name was Welder. Welder wasn't very good at drilling, but he had good knowledge of electronics work. The other team members were Chiefna, who was a civil engineer and proficient in understanding maps, Jian, who was a machine operator, and there was also a girl in the team who worked in a hotel's reception section. Her name was Tina. The hotel where Tina worked was connected to that big pipeline, so they planned to run their mission through the underground route of the hotel. Tina's job was to not let anyone book the hotel during the mission so that nobody would find it strange. Everyone together started the mission. Drillbit had prepared a very strong and special drilling machine for that mission. They all went to the hotel's underground. They did some planning about how the work would proceed. And everyone's phones were taken and kept aside. They would get them back only after the mission was over. Looking at a map, Drillbit decided from which place they should start digging first. After much deliberation, they chose a wall and first broke that wall with a hammer. Meanwhile, Jian told one of his men to buy oil with all the money deposited in his bank because Jian's big plan was that as soon as he got the line from the pipeline, he would extract a lot of oil from there, and by extracting such a large amount of oil illegally there would be an oil shortage across the country. Taking advantage of this situation, Jian wanted to earn a lot of money by selling those oils at high prices on the other side. They broke the wall and went underground, but as soon as they started drilling the pipe, they saw a layer of calcium carbonate there. Chiefna, who was the team's map expert, advised to stop drilling right there because the presence of calcium carbonate greatly increased the risk of explosion while drilling. Death could occur. But Drillbit said the work would continue and it could be stopped now because they had already made a deal with Jian. Despite the risk, they had to complete this work. Before doing this work, everyone had agreed knowing the risk. On top of that, they had been given a deadline, so stopping the work would be of no use. Hearing Drillbit's words, Welder became extremely angry. He told Drillbit, "You're putting all our lives at risk for money. If you want to die, go yourself." But Drillbit replied, "How can you say this to me when you also came here for money?" Welder was the angriest in the team and was also jealous of Drillbit. He thought he was better than Drillbit and wanted to earn a lot of money like him. Welder claimed that if there was risk, give him the main position. If you give me the main work and give me the entire deal amount, then I'm ready to risk my life. Hearing Welder's demand, Drillbit became filled with anger and a big fight started between them. It almost came to slapping and fighting. The other members had to intervene and calm them down because it had gotten very late to start work today. They all decided together that work would be stopped for today and tomorrow. With cool heads, they would complete the work together according to plan the next day. When they dug again and progressed a bit further, they found a very big stone, such a stone that wouldn't break with a simple drilling machine. To break it, they needed a hammer drill. But a hammer drill makes a very loud noise. So, according to plan, they sent Welder upstairs to play very loud music to hide the noise, and Welder was doing exactly that according to plan. They started breaking the stone with the hammer drill below. Welder was dancing upstairs playing music so loud that no sound from below could be heard above. Meanwhile, we also see Mansik, who was still after Drillbit. He was searching for Drillbit everywhere. Mansik also had a map of all the city's pipelines. Using it, he checked many pipelines in the city and found many holes and illegal connections. When he submitted all these reports to the police department, everyone accepted that oil theft was indeed happening in the city. Otherwise, where would so many illegal pipeline connections come from? immediately. The police department sent police to check every pipeline in the city. While investigating, a policeman reached the hotel under which Drillbit and his team were working. When Tina saw the police there and got nervous, she somehow pressed the alarms that Drillbit's team would know about the police. Actually, they had planned and kept this alarm beforehand. But unfortunately, the alarm didn't work because during the excavation, someone had accidentally cut the alarm wire and nobody even realized it. On the other side, when the police heard Welder's playing song and went inside to check first, Welder welcomed the police and then played even louder music trying to make the police dance with him. So the police wouldn't reach Drillbit. But suddenly, due to a problem with the speaker box, the music stopped and the police heard the sound of the drilling machine. The police immediately moved toward the basement, but by then Drillbit had erased all the evidence from there. They all wore masks and stood there in such a manner as if they were all people working in the hotel. Actually, Drillbit's team had walkie-talkies when the alarm wasn't working. Tina informed them about the police presence through the walkie-talkie. The police, finding nothing, left the hotel. Then Tina came downstairs and fixed the cut alarm wire, and Geof was also there with her. Meanwhile, upstairs, Drillbit and his team were placing a cupboard downstairs. Then that cupboard fell hard on the ground, and several parts of the underground collapsed. They saw that Tina and Geof were buried under the debris. The problem was that the way to save them was also blocked by debris, and they were stuck on the other end of the underground. So Welder told Chiefna that getting stuck there and wasting time wouldn't help them. They're stuck there in such a way that we can't save them. So let's complete our work, and if they die too, it will benefit us. We'll also get their share. Just think, we're doing such risky work, and if we get a little benefit here, what's wrong with that? Hearing Welder's words, both Chiefna and Drillbit became very angry because how could a person be so selfish? Then Chiefna himself went down to dig the soil and save Tina and Geof, and Drillbit also joined him. Somehow, they both pulled Tina and Geof out of the debris. At night, when everyone was sleeping in the hotel room, Drillbit was sitting in his room looking at a map. Then the sound of some alarm came from outside. Drillbit came out of the room and saw that Welder was trying to run away by stealing all the money. Drillbit immediately caught him and started beating him. The others gathered their hearing that sound, but Welder fell on his knees and started begging in front of everyone, saying, "Do you people think I'm stealing this money from myself? My son is in the hospital. He needs expensive medicine. That's why I was taking this money." Their compassion awakened, and everyone stopped saying anything. But the truth was that Welder had created a drama just to escape. He was lying. Drillbit still couldn't trust Welder. Then Drillbit, thinking right there, went to the reception and started checking the reason for the alarm. There he saw some CCTV footage. Two cameras were installed in the basement where they were working on the pipeline. Drillbit understood that these cameras were installed by Jian, and he had told Tina to secretly tell Jian about their every move. Now Drillbit knew for sure that Tina was also working for Jian to some extent. Drillbit requested Tina not to tell Jian about Welder's escape, because their contract clearly stated that until the mission was complete, no member of their team could go outside, and if anyone tried to escape, Jian could punish them as he wished. Just then, Jian arrived there and said that even though he stayed away from them, every news about them reached him. He had also received information about Welder's escape attempt. According to the contract, he should be punished. After this, Jian deducted some amount from the team's payment. Then he took Welder to a place and punished him in front of his people, and told him that if he wanted, he would give him more money. But in return, he would give him all the information about Drillbit. Jian actually didn't want any kind of mistake. He had such a big loan on him that if anything went wrong, everything would be finished. So he was extremely cautious about everything. After this, Drillbit and his team started their work again. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mansik, with his entire team, was busy finding holes in every pipeline in the city, the place where Mansik and his team were. Standing right below that place, Drillbit and his team were running their mission. The tools that Drillbit and his companions were using were all made of iron, and when a policeman was checking there with a metal detector, a beeping sound came due to those iron tools. Mansik immediately ordered his people to dig there, on the other side. When Tina saw all this, she immediately pressed the alarm. As soon as the alarm rang, all the people present underground started trying to escape. They all picked up their tools and started coming out of the underground. But then Drillbit remembered that he had left an iron tool behind. He tried to run back. Meanwhile, due to their digging, gas leaked there, and due to that gas, Drillbit fainted and fell. Seeing this, Chiefna ran and somehow took Drillbit out of there, and thus they escaped being caught this time. That day, when Drillbit opened his eyes, Chiefna told him that his wife was very ill and her surgery was scheduled for today. But if Chiefna didn't go there now with money, his wife's surgery wouldn't happen. Chiefna had actually come on this mission for his wife's surgery money. So he was asking everyone's permission so he could go to his wife. But the rest of the team refused him because if he went outside before the mission was complete, their contract terms would be broken and money would be deducted from their payment. At the same time, a message came on Jian's phone. That message was sent by Welder in which he said that a member of their team was trying to sneak out from there. A little while later, the others together gave Chiefna permission to meet his wife. But this was also done secretly. Chiefna reached the hospital through a manhole route where his wife was. But the others also followed him to check whether all this was true or not. When Chiefna arrived there, he found out that his wife had died a few days ago. Knowing this, he was completely shattered. He sat in front of his wife's photo and started crying. The other team members also stood there sadly seeing Chiefna's condition. Then everyone together took Chiefna back to the hotel through that tunnel route. But when they reached there, they saw that Jian was present there with his people. That is, they were all caught by Jian. Because everyone had broken the contract terms, Jian was very angry at them. Chiefna told Jian that it wasn't their fault. My wife was ill. That's why I told them it's not their fault. Chiefna was telling the truth. But Jian started beating him. Drillbit didn't find all this right at all. He couldn't tolerate beating a helpless person. So Drillbit, in great anger, cancelled his contract and said that he wouldn't work for Jian anymore. At that moment, Jian showed Drillbit a picture of his mother and said that his mother was now with them. If Drillbit didn't complete the work now, they would kill his mother. Drillbit was now trapped by Jian from all sides, so he was forced to work. But Jian now put a stricter condition. Until they found and showed that pipeline, they couldn't go out of the underground, meaning they wouldn't get permission to come outside. They had to find that pipeline quickly and carefully. When everyone was working underground, Chiefna suddenly fainted. Actually, he had cancer, which he hadn't told anyone about until now, and he needed emergency treatment. Drillbit wanted to leave all work and take Chiefna to the doctor, but Jian's people weren't letting him go. Drillbit couldn't bear it anymore. He went down and clashed with Jian's people and somehow managed to get out of there with Chiefna. But more of Jian's people had arrived there, and now they had heavy weapons. Initially, Drillbit's team got a bit scared because they couldn't understand how to deal with the confrontation. Then they tried to save themselves using a nearby gas pipe. Due to the fire in the gas pipe, Jian's people couldn't get close. Jian even threatened that he would shoot them. But Drillbit knew very well that if Jian really killed them, Jian's mission wouldn't be completed either, so he wouldn't really do it. Drillbit told Jian and his team that if they weren't let go right now, he would kill Jian and his people. Jian was still threatening to shoot, but Chiefna ran to pull the gun away, and Jian immediately shot him. Hearing the gunshot from outside, Mansik and his entire team were coming there, which is why Jian escaped from there with his people somehow. Drillbit also managed to get out of there with his companions. When the police arrived there, they only found Chiefna's body but failed to catch anyone. Drillbit was very sad about Chiefna's death and wanted to take revenge on Jian somehow. After this, Drillbit went straight to his old friend General. From General, he learned that he had saved Drillbit's mother and kept her in a safe place. So now Drillbit had no reason to be afraid, and he could take revenge on Jian. Meanwhile, on the other side, Welder had injuries on his body and was getting treatment at the hospital. The police team arrived there. Drillbit somehow got Welder out of there because if Welder was caught, it would become a threat to their team. Then Jian received a call from an unknown number, and that person asked him to meet somewhere. Jian saw that Tina, who was earlier on his side, had now gone with Drillbit. When Jian talked to that unknown caller, he understood that it was none other than Drillbit himself. Jian requested Drillbit to complete the mission, but Drillbit said that they would all complete his mission together. But now they wanted more money because, due to him, the police were now after them and there was an 80% chance of getting caught. If you increase our fee 5 times, we'll do your work because as soon as we complete this work, we'll all go abroad together. There will be no risk on us there. And if you don't accept our terms now, we'll tell the police everything about you, that you asked us to make an illegal connection in that pipeline. You can imagine what will happen to you. Jian finally accepted Drillbit's condition. After this, Drillbit and his companions got back to work. Welder was also with them, but nobody knew that Welder was secretly telling Jian about their every move. That day, when their work finished, Drillbit saw Welder go in somewhere and followed him. He saw that Welder was going to Jian and giving him all their information at that moment. He also saw Mansik, who was coming toward Welder and Jian. But if Mansik reached there, the police would learn about all their planning. So Drillbit cleverly ran away in front of Mansik, and Mansik also started chasing him instead of Jian. While running, Drillbit fell at a low place, and Mansik couldn't see him anymore. But Drillbit was badly injured from that shock. The next day, they reached that pipeline. Drillbit started drilling a hole in the pipe with the drilling machine. But a lot of pressure was needed here. Because his body was still injured, he couldn't apply pressure and slipped in the pipe's pressure himself. Then Drillbit told Welder to complete this work. Welder wasn't ready for this work initially. He had already had a big accident once before. But Drillbit said, "You always want to be like me, want a job like mine, so today I'll teach you everything. If you get a chance to learn, you can also earn a lot of money like me." Hearing this, Welder immediately agreed. He applied pressure on the pipeline, and Drillbit was telling him at what time to apply what pressure first. Welder could only apply pressure slowly, but Drillbit kept encouraging him. In just a short while, Welder applied very good pressure and beautifully drilled a hole in the pipeline. After this, Drillbit created an illegal pipeline connection through that same hole. On the other side, Jian was preparing all his people for how he would extract and sell the oil, and he had also made deals with several clients. He had also kept several oil-carrying vehicles ready beforehand. When he saw oil flowing from that, a legal pipe, he became very happy at that moment. Drillbit called him and said to bring the money now, because they had completed his work, and until he came with the money, all extraction from this pipeline would remain stopped. Drillbit then shut off the pipeline there and left. But Welder immediately contacted Jian, and when Jian went to give him money, Welder secretly turned the pipeline back on. Drillbit heard Welder and Jian's conversation. Then Drillbit immediately pounced on Welder and started beating him. He said, "How can you be so selfish? You're standing with a bad person like Jian. Didn't you see how brutally he killed Chiefna? Chiefna made so many sacrifices for you. And you don't know anything about it." Drillbit further said that Chiefna had left all his savings, which he had kept for his wife's treatment, just to give to him, and he was shaking hands with those who killed him. Hearing this, Welder understood his mistake and felt very sad for Chiefna. He regretted it a lot, but now nobody in the team trusted him anymore. So they all tied Welder up together. Meanwhile, when Welder and Drillbit were working on the pipeline, Jian was watching everything through a CCTV installed there, and he sent that footage to Mansik's phone. But why did he do this? We'll know in a little while. Now Drillbit gave Jian a final warning and called. Jian replied that he was coming with his money. You people wait outside. Now, when Jian arrived there, he told Drillbit that no oil was flowing from the pipeline. And how could he trust that the connections he made were all correct? First, take me inside and show me that everything is fine. Then I'll give you all your money. Drillbit took Jian there and showed him all the lines he had made. But Jian said to Drillbit there, "Did you think I would give money so easily? You won't get a single penny." Then all of Jian's people surrounded Drillbit and his team. They all attacked them together, but Drillbit and his team confronted them. Welder also fought against Jian. At one point, Drillbit got Jian under control. But when he was about to shoot him, Mansik arrived there. Actually, Jian had messaged Mansik and called him there. Seeing Mansik, Drillbit didn't say anything to Jian and quickly tried to run outside. Then he saw that his companion Straw, who had given Drillbit Jian's contact. Now all his other companions had been taken hostage by Jian. Then one of Jian's men came from behind and hit Drillbit on the head, making him unconscious. A little while later, when Drillbit regained consciousness, he saw that Jian had imprisoned everyone in one place. Even the policeman named Mansik was a prisoner. They had been imprisoned under that pipeline's oil factory. Jian had planted bombs everywhere so that danger remained in every part of the factory. But Mansik and Drillbit couldn't understand why Jian did this. Then Jian told Drillbit, "You people think I'm such a fool. If I extracted oil illegally from anywhere, I would get caught. So my plan was different. When you people were engaged in your mission, I took loans in the names of several companies, and bought oil worth crores in bulk and reserved it. And then I started my master plan. I've planted bombs in every part of this factory. In just a few moments, I'll destroy this entire factory. And the oil supply in the city will suddenly end because this is our city's biggest oil factory. Taking advantage of this situation, I'll sell my reserved oil at high prices and pay off all my loans and crores and escape. And I called Mansik here with you people because Mansik had been after the pipeline from the beginning. He could find some evidence or another. Keeping him alive reduced my risk. Otherwise, he could bring out some big evidence against me. Today you'll all end here, and even if you die in the blast underground, nobody will reach your bodies. Saying this much, Jian left from there. A little while later, Drillbit saw a lighter. He somehow reached that lighter, went near the gas-leaking cylinder, and cleverly set that cylinder on fire. With the help of fire, he cut the ropes tied on his hands and feet and freed himself, and then freed his companions too. Then together they found all the bombs hidden in the factory, and when there was just 1 second left before the bomb exploded, Drillbit somehow took that bomb and jumped into water, which kept them all safe, and Drillbit also didn't get injured. On the other side, Jian was watching the factory from some distant building and was pressing the button repeatedly. But the bombs weren't exploding. This scared him, and he understood that Drillbit's hand was behind this. He immediately went there to kill Drillbit. Drillbit was also now very angry with Jian, and a scuffle occurred between them. Jian started hitting Drillbit hard and was about to kill him with a big stone when Mansik came and stopped him. Mansik said that the police would give Jian his punishment, and at that same time, the entire police unit arrived there because Mansik had already informed them. The police unit immediately arrested Jian there and also took Drillbit into custody. Although Drillbit's other companions had already escaped from there much earlier, but Drillbit was happy that Jian was caught. When they were being taken to the police station, Drillbit saw his companion team sitting in another police vehicle. Those people had actually gone to the police themselves and surrendered because they wanted to support Drillbit. Everyone was taken to jail. 3 years passed after this entire incident for being involved in illegal activities. Drillbit and his companions were given a 3-year sentence. But they accepted their mistake and helped the police catch Jian. So they were released before 3 years. Now they were all living their new lives by working honestly. But one day, suddenly when Mansik was walking on the road, he saw from afar that Drillbit and his companions were going down into some underground. He suspected that perhaps they weren't starting their old business again. To investigate, he reached there, but he was greatly relieved to see that they weren't doing anything illegal there, but were now doing the work of fixing sewer lines. Seeing this, Mansik became very happy. In this way, they all left illegal work and started a new life with hard work and honesty.